Would you send your kid to a school where things like this happen?
Remember the time you thought
Or where this happens?
Now, I'm going to put the glass tube into Mr. Slave's tight ass will act as our new conductor of energy.
Oh, my poor bleeding eyes! Needless to say, I wouldn't call Springfield or South Park Elementary your top-notch #1 schools. But which one of these two are, let's say, more redeemable? That's what I'm finding out today as I put on my school inspector hat and rate them on a 5-criteria scorecard, from their insane staff to their bonkers curriculum. Starting with facilities over at the school, where the superintendent once said this.
Good Lord, what a dump.
Most Simpsons fans know that Springfield Elementary used to be in Missouri, where it carried a most unfortunate title.
That's why it was shut down and moved here, brick by brick.
Look around, Lisa.
This school was once classified the most dilapidated in all of Missouri.
Or it's probably now known as the most dilapidated school in all of Springfield. Hardcore fans would also remember that the school used to be something completely different.
Springfield Elementary was originally designed as a storage facility.
Jump skin.
At some later point, it was turned into a school.
On hot days, pork grease still comes out of the walls.
And that's not the only thing hiding in their walls.
In a sample taken in this very classroom, a 7.4 parts per million of asbestos! That's not enough! More asbestos! More asbestos! More asbestos! More asbestos!
Yep, Springfield Elementary is one old, dilapidated, and hazardous building, and you just can't help but feel that something is going to fall on someone at any given moment.
And to Chalmers, you didn't have to come all the way down here. Everything's under control.
It's common knowledge that the school is in the horrendous state it's in because Springfield Elementary is grossly underfunded. I mean, the kids have a cinder block for a tetherball. I mean, like, come on.
Ow! Oh.
Also, their school bus shouldn't be out on the streets. It should be in a fracking junkyard.
This bus has seen better days! Well, at least it's safer than the old bus. Uh-oh, time to move.
I'd get into skateboarding too if that was my school bus. The school's cafeteria is nothing short of a health hazard. For one, the quality of food is of no quality at all.
I don't care what you say, I can taste the newspaper.
There's very little meat in these gym mats.
You didn't notice the old gym mats?
She seems bright, but for real, the food that's been served at the school is just abysmal. Look at this.
What mean more iron?
And if a health inspector ever saw this, oh yeah, goodbye to that school kitchen altogether.
What do you want these beef hearts?
Just do your job, heart boy.
You could very well say that the kids at Springfield Elementary are literally eating off the floor. That is, if they're not eating old, moldy food out of their school desks. I don't think anyone will disagree with me when I say Springfield Elementary is getting an F for failure here. Now let's check out how the facilities are over at South Park Elementary. So there was that one time the school had to make some major cutbacks following a string of lawsuits involving mostly false harassment claims.
Okay, children, there's a few changes being made here at school, but lessons will go on as normal. Any questions?
Still better than chewing on ground-up gym mats. Lucky for them, these hard times were extremely short-lived, and soon they were back to their good old ways of clean and proper classrooms.
Okay, children, let's take our seats.
Tidy hallways and bathrooms.
I'm not suspended no more.
Good for you.
And a spotless cafeteria complete with vending machines and the like.
It's really weird what he said. I don't know, it kind of confused me.
Their cafeteria is not only in a way better state than that of Springfield, but the food these kids are served every day are just streets ahead of that at Springfield.
And now for a look at what's on the menu for school lunch today, here's Stan Marsh. Now that's traditionally a white meat chicken breast, if you will, that has been breaded. It's really shaping up to be a one fantastic lunch, Eric.
I'd say. And yes, they even have all the facilities and equipment they need to film a morning news report at school.
And we're cut. All right, nice reporting, guys, nice.
Fancy. South Park Elementary actually has a lot of facilities that Springfield doesn't. For one, where Springfield uses its assembly hall for concerts and stuff, South Park has its very own theater.
All right, everyone, listen up. The song is about his feelings towards the current political climate with North Korea.
Riveting stuff. The school also has a club room.
The first bugbear lashes out at Stan with his broadsword.
A student conference room. They have locker rooms.
Hello? Ah! Ah!
And they have a special ed classroom.
Okay, guys, it's November. Yes, Francis.
Time for the special ed science fair.
That's awesome, and it's something Springfield sorely needs. What with kids like little Ralph Wiggum, even their school bus is pretty decent, although I can't say the same about the driver.
Be quiet back there!
Wow, that is the voice of an angry, hysterical seabird. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give South Park Elementary an A for facilities. This public school clearly has more than poor old Springfield and then some. Right then, now let's look at the teachers and other staff members over at Springfield. The teachers at Springfield Elementary have some questionable methods when it comes to things like discipline and education. For example,
That concludes this morning's announcements. I'm Seymour Skinner, and
Ugh, it's hard enough to keep the kids awake without you, Seymour.
both unconventional and I'd say probably illegal. Anyway, the kids in the school seem doomed because it's not like their teachers care much about teaching anyway.
Lousy hangover.
Lousy teachers.
No, children, no. Your education is important. Whatever. I tried.
And no, it's not just Bart's teacher.
it means less work for you.
I didn't know it was possible to do less work. 3, 2, 1. So I'm gonna sit back and let Ralph teach for a while.
In what year was 1 + 1?
Good golly goober. I know these teachers are probably literally being paid in peanuts, but these poor kids seem to have the educational equivalent of a mob of meerkats. It gets even worse when the useless teachers decide to go on strike, and the school's solution to this problem is to hire people from the neighborhood as subs.
Talking on a turn. That's a paddling. Staring at my sandals. That's a paddling. Looking out the window. That's a paddling.
When I call your name, you say present or here. I need a bath. Need a bath here.
If your only option for a sub is the local barman, then maybe you should just go ahead and shut down the school. It really is remarkable that the school still endures because money is so tight that the lunch lady is also the school nurse.
Lunch Lady Doris, why are you here?
Budget cuts.
Bonjour, you cheese-eating surrender monkeys.
A Scotsman teaching French should be a criminal offense. Oh, and school nurse / lunch lady Doris isn't the only staff member who likes to light up on school grounds.
I question the educational value of this assembly.
Hey, it'll be one of their few pleasant memories when they're pumping gas for a living.
Children, teachers, back to your rooms.
And it's not just smoking. The staff has no qualms boozing it up during school hours either.
My father invented that drink, and if you'll allow me to demonstrate...
Bart,
brought enough for everybody.
Take those to the teacher's lounge.
Bart, you're going to kindergarten.
Kindergarten?
I'm so drunk I can barely see another day.
Not even Principal Skinner is above that.
Mrs. Simpson, let me pour you a drink. I got everything you want.
I want my kids in a decent school.
I want the check engine light on my dashboard to shut off, but that ain't gonna happen.
I guess having to run a school like Springfield Elementary will make anyone hop on the sauce. Or on the nearest person, I guess.
School dismissed.
I know what you're thinking. In the real world, the staff at Springfield Elementary would have gotten fired a long time ago. We probably have read about them in the news by now. And don't even get me started on Otto, the bus driver.
Oh, it's a miracle no one was hurt.
Let's see your license, pal. 15 crashes and not a single fatality. Never got one.
Yet, I would add. Now remember that clip where Bart's school desk was practically exploding with all that food? Let's look at it again, only this time let's rewind it a little.
We've just been tipped off that Superintendent Chalmers is planning a surprise inspection.
This all begs the question, does Springfield Elementary even have a cleaning staff? Oh, who am I kidding? The answer is obviously a big fat frackin' no. They got one guy doing everything in and around the school, and his groundskeeper, Willie, who may or may not be an infamous still-at-large serial killer, by the way. In the episode of The Dad Who Knew Too Little, Homer hires a private detective to investigate Lisa because doofus dad's got no idea who his own daughter is. When the detective goes to snoop around in Lisa's locker at school, he meets Willie.
That's not your locker.
You are the spitting image of the Aberdeen Strangler.
Moving on.
Okay. Yeah, that was very suspicious. There was also this sort of throwaway comment Chalmers once made about him.
Yes, hello, Willie. Maybe that escaped mental patient you hired has some sort of toxin in his shack.
And then there's the fact that we actually know he has killed a kid before. We learned this in the episode Homer the Father as Willie's about to take a candlelit bath in a garbage container.
Just a playground ghost. I swear, I didn't mean to kill you.
Bart Simpson, it's me, Willie.
How could you mistake him for me?
Oh, right. It was that saucy mouth that got you killed in the first place.
Uh-huh. In the real world, groundskeeper Willie would have his own true crime documentary on Netflix by now. I'm giving Springfield an E for staff, which here means both a fail and also E for egregious. None of these chain-smoking, borderline alcoholic sociopaths should be in charge of taking care of kids, or anywhere near them for that matter. Not that South Park Elementary is any better. Much like at Springfield, the teaching staff also use some questionable discipline methods at times.
If they get out of control, just use this tear gas, okay?
And just like at Springfield, many of these teachers have given up on trying to discipline the kids altogether. Take that time Wendy tried to bring awareness to breast cancer and Cartman just couldn't stop making fun of it.
Because breast cancer isn't funny.
Mr. Garrison, do we really need all this potty talk in the classroom?
Eric, for the love of Jesus.
Will somebody do something?
Eric, stop being offensive.
Every week he gets worse and nobody does anything.
Oh yeah, that ought to do it. Not. But unlike Springfield, the teachers at South Park are so next-level bonkers that pretty much all of them would have their own very disturbing American crime story series by now. There's Mr. Mackey, the school counselor, who once had a full-on fight with a hand puppet on the school bus.
I'm gonna kick your ass, I'm good. You may have won this time, Mr. Hyatt.
Who once almost started a war with Russia.
Kick them out! Shut off the Wi-Fi!
And who once, alongside shop teacher Mr. Adler and Principal Victoria, not only tried to feed laxatives to the entire school to stop the bullying of kids who accidentally pooped themselves.
A few more laxatives on that one. A little more Arby's horsey sauce on there. Mm-hmm.
You sure this will work, Eric? What if some of the students don't eat the pizza?
Is this one good?
Yeah, I think they're all ready. Enough students will crap their pants to make everyone forget about Pete Melman and Jenny Simons forever.
But also then tried to murder Cartman to cover up their crime.
Stop where killing.
Seth, did you see that? Oh, why would he do it? Here's a suicide note. I just cannot go on, okay?
Yeah, they literally threw him under the bus. There's Miss Strebel, the art teacher who was exposed for having an explicit OnlyFans page.
Oh, yeah.
She actually did it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
My God, she did it.
There's Miss Stevenson, who not only had a vomit-inducing relationship with a little Ike, but also tried to Romeo and Juliet the two of them.
Are you ready, my love? Here we go. 3, 4, 5.
Luckily, Ike noped out of there real fast. And of course, it should be pointed out that South Park went from Principal Victoria, who once confessed a straight-up murder.
All right. I killed him. I cut up the body. I tried to burn it, but it wouldn't burn. Put the legs in garbage bags and hid the torso under a bridge.
To PC Principal, who once beat up Cartman in the faculty bathroom.
Did you just use a term that excludes women from an occupation? Did you just say spokesman instead of spokesperson? Are you purposefully trying to use words that assert your male privilege?
And do we even have to talk about Garrison?
We take the glass tube of the Bunsen burner, we can also see how other things react. So let's look at an endothermic one. Now, I'm gonna put the glass tube into Mr. Slave's tight ass. Ah!
And that's about enough of that. Moving on, because I know you all have a burning question, and yes, I can confirm, South Park Elementary also has a cleaning staff of 1. His name is Mitchell, and he's kind of creepy and intense.
You guys like hardcore stuff, huh?
Yeah, we like hardcore stuff.
You boys want to get in on some real action? I'm not talking about the little boy stuff. I'm talking real man.
And that's how the boys end up at their first ever cockfight, as one does. Of course, I should also again mention that the school's previous bus driver, Victoria Crabtree, who not only used to scream like a banshee, but also frequently threatened to shoot fluffy little animals in the face.
That does it. Y'all be quiet or the cute little bunny dies.
Only a mad woman would do that, but Crabtree died in episode 8 and the school's former janitor Jose Venezuela took over, which was such a significant upgrade that the only clip I can show you as proof is this. So calm, so normal, but yeah, apart from their bus driver, the staff at South Park Elementary are somehow and beyond belief genuinely worse than Springfield, so they get a double F from me, which here stands for freaking felons. Right, so what about the kids? How do they fare on the scale of normal to juvenile delinquents? Let's look at what type of classmates your kid will be subjected to in these schools, kicking things off at Springfield again. So first off, there's the constant bullying and schoolyard brawls happening without any intervention from an adult ever.
Belly, pink belly, pink belly. All right, break it up, boys. Okay. Reggie! Why isn't my mom stopping this? He's learning on his own.
There's also the disturbing possibility that one of these bullies might be a 20-something adult who's not only still in school, but is also somehow allowed to beat up little kids for funsies.
Every class will do its part to make our local bicentennial just as memorable as our national bicentennial. You all know Springfield's 200th birthday is only a week away.
Those tall ships really lifted the nation's spirits after Watergate.
Of course, you children are too young to remember that, with the possible exception of Kearney.
Yeah, Kearney is apparently as old as Otto.
Stupid school doesn't know how to teach me.
Oh, knock it off, Kearney. Why are you still in this school anyway? We were in 3rd grade together.
Not gonna argue with him on that, but it's still pretty dang creepy that he gets to beat up little kids. Oh, and don't think for a second that Springfield Elementary only has boy bullies.
Hey, come on! I need them! You have that used to be my face in the mud.
The bullying is so bad that one time Lisa hired the boy bullies to be her bodyguards.
Would you bullies be interested in some bodyguard work?
We were just talking about moving into protection.
Well, I'm gonna need full coverage. My bully is highly aggressive.
Good take. Check it out. Triple twist.
Kids are the worst, man. And if your terrible kid ends up going there, they'll have to contend with Springfield Elementary's #1 bully, Nelson Muntz.
Put him up.
Nelson is so bad that he wants to beat up Milhouse straight into the ER. When Lisa asks Milhouse to pass along a love letter to Nelson because she obviously lost her mind for a minute there, Nelson mistakenly thinks the letter is from Milhouse.
Milhouse, I'm so sorry.
We had to pack his ears with gauze.
Mamma mia! How Nelson isn't locked up in juvie is beyond me. But speaking of, Springfield Elementary is also the school of one Bart Simpson, the boy who once got his entire class hooked on nicotine.
These Band-Aids smell like my Uncle Claude. Oh, I don't feel so good.
Uh-oh.
The boy who occasionally likes to bring knives to school.
Guilty of the following atrocities: replacing my birth control pills with Tic Tac, synthesizing a laxative from peas and carrots.
And that's not even the worst by far.
Now, where did Bart stick the fireworks?
It's no wonder the kid has a criminal record.
I hereby sentence you to 6 months, Bart Simpson, at the Springfield Juvenile Correctional Facility.
Yeah, that happened once, but if you ask me, he didn't spend nearly enough time in there. And it's not just Bart, even Lisa can be dangerous, as the two of them once almost killed one of their classmates. When Bart pulls a prank on Martin at an excavation site by planting a bone, this happens.
Martin! Oh my God!
Martin is still alive, albeit badly hurt, and Lisa tries to save him using a stick. Only...
Wake up!
Yeah, that may have been an accident, but it doesn't change the fact that it happened. In the end, Martin turned out to be okay, but only after everyone thought that he was dead and Bart and Lisa kept quiet about the whole thing. Yes, even the supposedly sweet and innocent should be deemed dangerous. Take little Ralph Wiggum, for example, who most definitely needs some special ed.
My parents won't let me use scissors.
The children are right to laugh at you, Ralph. These things couldn't cut butter.
I don't have a red crayon.
Why not?
I ate it.
But don't be fooled by his naivete. This is a kid who might snap at any given moment.
This is my sandbox. I'm not allowed to go in the deep end.
Right.
He told me to burn things.
Done grand, laddie. Now you know what you have to do. Burn them all!
Jeepers creepers, I'd say he's one red crayon away from burning down the entirety of Springfield. The only reason I'm giving the classmates category a higher grade than the other categories is because surprisingly enough, the kids have all survived each other up until now, which means that even though they're terrible, they've clearly built up some sort of resilience to everything. That's gotta count for something, right? On we move to South Park, though, who has its fair share of bullies. This is how Butters is treated for simply never having kissed a girl.
Turns out that Butters has never kissed a girl. Oof.
This is how Butters and the others treat the new homeschool kid on his first day.
Well, you shouldn't be such a smart-mouth Mr. Know-It-All.
Oh, dear.
And there's also the occasional schoolyard brawl, even though it doesn't feel as frequent as the ones over at Springfield. It should be said more often than not, their fights are more satisfying than those at Springfield. At South Park, the bully usually gets the short end of the stick. At Springfield, not so much. But while Springfield takes the trophy for the most violent beatings, the South Park kids tend to engage in other types of horrible activities. I mean, this is the kind of school where the boys will respond to the girls' request for respect by doing things like this. Talk about trying to make a point. Also note how none of the adults are doing anything about this because the lack of education starts at home, folks. If they did intervene, the Wiener Parade would probably not have moved from the volleyball games at the school halls.
We're not going to feel ashamed for who we are. Wieners out.
Wieners out.
Don't let anyone tell you to not think with your wiener. Don't let anyone tell you you're somehow less because you're a boy.
Anyway, Springfield Elementary isn't the only school with kids who have criminal records. In the episode Preschool, we learned about Trent Boyett.
What's going on? Trent Boyett is being released from juvenile hall. Meanest, dirtiest, toughest kid in the world, super pissed off at us, Trent Boyett? Oh, holy Jesus God.
The boys are terrified because it turns out it was their fault that the kid was thrown in jail at such a ridiculously young age. See, when they were all together in preschool, they wanted to play fireman one day, but they needed an actual fire to put out.
How do we start a fire? Trent Boyett will do it. Say, Uncle! Uncle!
Don't look at me, I didn't say the boy was a sweet little angel. The gang asks him to start a fire, and he does, but then this happens.
Come on, firemen, put out the fire! We're heroes! We saved the school! Hey, put it out! What have you done now? They said they could put it out.
Only they couldn't, and the fire ended up burning their teacher alive. Trent got the blame for it, and that's why he's out for revenge, claiming bystander Butters is his first victim, and not Hal.
From the test results, it would appear your child was tortured by a bully. His underwear pulled up so high it nearly killed him. A Charlie horse on the thigh and a second-degree titty twister. He also received 2 Indian sunburns on his forearms. And from the damage to his head area, it appears he was also given a swirly, colossal one.
The doctor also says Butters got something called a Polish bike ride, which I'm not sure what it means, and frankly, I don't want to know. Trent's abuse only escalates after the kids hire the 6th graders to protect them.
Jesus Christ, I've never seen so many Indian sunburns and titty twisters in my life. Some mean kid gave him a Texas chili bowl. It involves Tabasco sauce, a telephone, and the anus.
Have mercy. The troubled young boy ends up back in juvie in the end, but for how long, I don't know. Of course, there are other individuals attending this school who are just as terrible. There's Nathan, who hates Jimmy so much that he hires a grown man to mutilate him. Sorry, did I say one man? I meant multiple.
I understand you've taken care of our little problem.
Yeah, we snuck in his room last night and we broke his legs.
Timmy?
We got a message for you.
Oh boy, that's good. Where you what? If you want to hurt a crippled kid, you don't break his legs!
And if you enroll your kid in South Park Elementary, they'd be sharing a playground with literally the son of Satan.
It cost more money. Our slide! Oh dear, you shouldn't be so upset, Tingman. You need acceptance? I'm the son of Satan!
And he's not even being dramatic. Then there's the worst of the worst, Eric freaking Cartman. And we all know the terrifying things he's capable of.
After a night with the hacksaw, I was all ready to put on my chili con carnival. Do you like it? So that I could tell you personally about your parents' demise. Do you like it, Scott? I call it Mr. and Mrs. Tenorman chili.
Oh my God!
Yes, Cartman is the type of person who would feed a kid their dead parents and somehow still walk the halls of South Park Elementary like nothing happened. Also, just like Springfield, even the smart, sweet, and nice kids are to be feared. In Tom's rhinoplasty, our little Wendy gets so jealous of Stan being smitten with Miss Ellen that she shoots the new substitute teacher straight into the sun.
Please!
Shut up!
Yikes. Just like their staff, South Park Elementary gets a double F for this category, even though I like to put down an FP for freaking psychos. Right, so what about the school curriculums? What are the kids actually learning in these schools? Over to Springfield we go to find on out. In the episode Camp Krusty, we get a glimpse of the 4th graders' subjects when Bart gets his report card. Yeah, no, that's not great. And Bart might be lazy when it comes to schoolwork, but he's definitely not dumb. But you see, Springfield Elementary is so poor that they don't even have real periodic tables in their classrooms.
Tell me the atomic weight of bolognium.
Delicious?
Correct. I would also accept snacktacular.
They have one single computer in their supposed computer lab that teaches this.
Hi, Super Nintendo Chalmers. I'm learning.
And the class reading materials are laughably inappropriate.
And look at this. The only books we have are ones that were banned by other schools.
Ah, yes, the importance of a 4th grader knowing the history of Playboy. There's also the question of whether these kids are actually being taught in Springfield Elementary. When Chalmers does that surprise inspection visit in Season 4, he has this conversation with Skinner.
So, what's the word down at One School Board Plaza?
The children weren't testing well. We're dropping the geography requirement. It was proving to be an embarrassment.
Back to the 3 R's.
2 R's come October.
One guess which R they are thinking of dropping. Which would be terrible since these kids are already below par when it comes to math. Even smart little Lisa couldn't help her team score points at the mathlete competition.
Well, Lisa, we didn't score a single point. That was surprising.
The kids at Springfield Elementary have it so bad that Chalmers once admitted to this.
And a school system that teaches to the test, sneaks the kids the answers, and still fails.
Man, not even having the answers can help these kids pass their tests. Come to think of it, this might actually explain why they're all perpetually stuck in their respective grades. The school field trips aren't any better either. With hardly any money, these trips are either incredibly mundane.
And now, Principal Skinner will tell us where we'll be going on this year's field trip.
What this is?
Not the box factory again, Seymour.
Or they usually end in disaster. In the PTA disbands episode, Skinner and Krabappel take the kids to Fort Springfield to learn about the Civil War. Only they end up not having the money to pay the admission fees, and Skinner has them watching the reenactment by taking turns peering over the frackin' wall.
Hey, they're trying to learn for free!
Run, children!
Use your phony guns as clubs!
Start the bus, Otto! Start the bus!
Wait!
Because of your penny pinching, we're coming back from a field trip with the fewest children yet.
Yeah, because Springfield Elementary notoriously loses kids on their field trips, so much so that they have a big frackin' memorial wall dedicated to it.
Why is it always the kids with the long names? Ugh,
Wow, that's grim. Even more so is the kind of aptitude test they give these kids. In the episode Separate Vocations, the kids are asked questions to determine their best career paths, only these questions are totally frackin' bonkers.
Question 60. I prefer the smell of A, French fries, B, gasoline, or C, bank customers.
Let me guess. If you say A, gas, it probably means you should either become a dentist or a mortician. Anyway, this ridiculous questionnaire then coughs up these even more ridiculous results.
Police officer will all be jiggered. Homemaker?
Mm-hmm. It's like a mommy.
As if the school doesn't mess these kids up enough, Springfield Elementary is most definitely not the place for a kid like Elisa Simpson, whose individuality and critical thinking skills are apparently seen as a threat.
Miss Hoover, I don't think I can dissect an animal. I think it's wrong.
I respect your moral objection. Okay, Lisa.
Excuse me. Isn't there anything here that doesn't have meat in it? I believe you're required to provide a vegetarian alternative.
Uh-oh. The students are overstimulated. Willie, remove all the colored chalk from the classrooms.
Oh yeah, because heaven forbid a kid should actually think for themselves and maybe one day amount to something more than town doofus number 32,000. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't compare the two schools' approach to education, since we get to see both examples in the shows. In the episode Bart's Friend Falls in Love, Mrs. Krabappel is seen doing the honors in this department.
Class, in order to explain why your hormones will soon make you an easy target for every smooth-talking Ezekiel and Ishmael, in accordance with your parents' wishes, you may step out into the hall and pray for our souls. I will now show a short education film.
Not a bad start if you exclude the blatant and cringe personal approach.
I'm here to provide the facts about in a frank and straightforward manner. This is Fuzzy Bunny. He had terrible acne. He noticed his voice was changing and had fur where there was no fur before.
Oh wow, kill me.
So noticed Fluffy Bunny. Fuzzy went to the park, the ice cream social, and they never ruined their fun by giving in to their throbbing biological urges.
Oh no. I guess those two Mormon kids could have stayed in class. Anyway, the video shows Fluffy and Fuzzy getting married, and then this.
Night came the honeymoon. 9 months later, Fluffy gave birth to 14 beautiful bunnies.
She's faking it.
8 survive.
There's just too many things to unpack here that I'm simply going to move on and give Springfield Elementary another F on their scorecard. Although what I really want to give them is a WTF. Now let's evaluate South Park Elementary. With the 4th graders, the South Park seem to have a way more advanced curriculum. Maybe even too advanced for their age.
Hey, children, I want you to copy down these math problems and solve them before recess.
Yeah, those are definitely higher grade math problems. Their computer lab is also much more sophisticated.
Okay, so now the computer will show a command bar. X equals Y plus 1. We hit Command Y to bring up the...
Oh, man, you've got to be kidding me.
I'd say these kids are well trained in computers. Now what kind of reading materials do they have?
Now, kids, this book is very controversial. It's called Catcher in the Rye.
All right.
And it has some very risque parts and strong, vulgar language.
Oh, really? Sweet.
And in fact, many schools across the country still ban this book.
Okay, yeah, pretty wild read for a 4th grader, but I guess give it to South Park Elementary. They're trying to push boundaries, expose kids to thought-provoking theories and philosophies, but unlike Springfield Elementary, they also embrace the kids' independent thoughts, identities, critical thinking skills. An example of this is the school's famous emo group, the Goths, who are left to their own merry devices.
We're all taught to believe in happy fairy tale endings. Life is pain. Life is only pain. But there's only blackness. Dark, depressing loneliness that eats at your soul. Go ahead and wear your business suit so you can make $34,000 a year and buy your condominium. Everyone's just walking around like a bunch of conformists. They're all zombies racing to their graves.
Preach, little dude. But there are also some fairly odd things that some of these teachers throw in their lessons, like Mr. Garrison, who once thought it necessary to educate the kids on the Game of Thrones bloodlines.
What we start to see now is a pattern. And remember that there were 7 families fighting for control of the land of Westeros. Robert Baratheon, and he asked Eddard, also known as, of course, Lord Stark.
Or like their home ec teacher, Pearl, who has a bizarre idea of what home economics actually is.
That was very good, class. Now let's try this one together. Lisa Smith's husband just bought her a new car.
Lisa Smith's husband just bought her a new car.
Honey, can I get a new wardrobe?
Honey, can I get a new wardrobe?
Good, baby. Why don't you try this one?
Yeah, that's not right. But hey, at least they still get a proper education among the not-so-proper nonsense. As for their field trips, the locations might be more interesting than those of Springfield, but they're almost never smooth sailing. Take that time they went to the planetarium.
Good morning, children, and welcome to the planetarium. I want you to lean back in your chairs and get comfortable. These stars over here form the constellation Roger Ebert, while these stars form the constellation of Taurus, the bull.
Neat. Only the Sky Show turned out to be far more sinister.
To be without the planetarium causes you horrible pain. You love the planetarium. All you want to do is help the planetarium thrive. Needle-like stab, we see the constellation Orion.
Yeah, nothing like a starry sky to use as a cover to brainwash children. There was also the trip to the Pioneer Village where everyone was taken hostage by a bunch of criminals.
I'm Sheriff McLardo. Everyone down on the ground, now! I settled here back in 1850.
And then there was that time the boys were sent on a trip to Costa Rica with a touring choir, only to get kidnapped by a local tribe.
All we ever heard growing up was save the rainforest. The rainforest is fragile. Yeah, fragile my ass.
So yeah, in Springfield, you might get left behind on a field trip. In South Park, you might get kidnapped and witness some murder. Call me weird, I'd say neither is ideal. Before we grade South Park's curriculum, let's take a look at how they handle dead. Fair warning, it's not great. In the episode proper, we have Mr. Mackey talking to the boys and Miss Chalksundick teaching the girls, and they're both terrible.
I'm pretty sure I took the... What the hell did I do with that damn thing? Gonorrhea, herpes, chlamydia, HPV, HIV, syphilis, hepatitis, the list goes on and on. These are serious diseases. You think that is about fun and games and love? Wrong! Here's a little picture of herpes. This is about disease.
Sure, she's not wrong, but frick. No need to scar the kids for life. So we have Mackey not knowing what the hell he's talking about, and Chalksundick maybe a little too much about a very specific aspect of Hey, at least they have accurate visual aids of humans, I guess. All the field trip dangers and occasional teaching nonsense aside, gotta give South Park Elementary a B- here. There are so many background chalkboards in the show that actually display some impressive educational lessons, in between the nonsensical ones, of course. They also have many assignments that are just downright impressive, like this one.
Because I'm assigning all you little flag burners a full report on 1776 and the Founding Fathers.
Yeah, that might not be the funnest project, but it's pretty high caliber for a 4th grade class. Right, now let's look at which school is the safest, starting with the one where the food in the cafeteria can kill you. Springfield Elementary is like the ultimate survival test for kids, because if you can survive a completely unexpected oil well blowout...
Does not.
Miss Hoover? Ralph.
The floor is shaking.
Remember the time you thought...
Then you have to hope the class snake doesn't swallow you whole.
There's a rabbit in here. Hey, cool.
Oh, look, here comes Lumpy, the school snake.
Also, good luck surviving all the dangerous and terrible things that happen during this chain of events.
Oh, the grid is overloaded! Ribbons! One more daft device and she'll explode!
My guy, seriously, how this school hasn't killed every single kid and adult yet is nothing short of a miracle. Suffice it to say, Springfield Elementary isn't safe with no thanks to the terrible choices constantly being made. Take that one time it was decided to rent out part of Bart's classroom to Springfield's prison complex.
Yo, I used to sit right over there.
Children, just ignore the murderer.
Yikes, the school might be getting extra income while scoring some more security guards, but I'm not sure learning fractions among a bunch of murdering psychos makes any of this safe or okay. If the kids aren't in danger of being stabbed by a felon in class, they're in danger of dying from whatever they get fed in that cafeteria or given in sick bay. When Bart has himself a serious case of the stomach cramps, he gets this.
My stomach really hurts.
All I can give you are these chewable Prozac, manic depressive mouse, or the bluebird of unhappiness.
In fairness, it's not just that the adults are a danger to the kids, it works the other way around, too.
This way.
And of course, let's not forget that the school is situated in a town with a nuclear plant where men like Homer Simpson work at.
They called me old-fashioned for teaching the duck and cover method.
15 seconds to core meltdown.
Catch a tiger by the toe. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. If he hollers, let him go.
That's terrifying. Again, how this school is still standing, nothing short of a miracle. Oil well blowouts, child-eating snakes, prison inmates as classmates, and nuclear threats. Yeah, no, I don't care. This category gets an N for non-existent. So what about the school where the teachers might murder you? Well, there was that time when the South Park Core 4 tried cigarettes for the first time and ended up burning down the entire school.
Let me tell you something about smoking. Smoking's bad, okay? It's gonna be bad, okay? And if you start smoking at an early age, okay, let me tell you something about cancer. Holy! Good Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but by the start of the next episode, the school had already been rebuilt because it's nice when you have money. Hopefully it's now more fireproof. What it's definitely not is school shooter-proof. The school has had so many school shootings that the people of the town have been completely apathetic to it in recent times. And by recent, I mean just pretty much every time. Which honestly remains one of the show's best satirical moments. In the episode aptly titled Dead Kids, we see this apathy play out.
Wait, Token got an A, but I cheated off Token. I said something's wrong. I can't hear you, Eric. I got an F, but I cheated off Token. X.
Active shooter! Active shooter! Shooters in the hallway! All units report!
Now I'm giving you an opportunity to do better. He did it to me on purpose. You can see where Token erased his answers and wrote in the right one. Eric, that's enough.
Shooter is down.
Now let's move on to the next equation.
And so it goes on while the school shooter is eventually taken down somewhere off screen in the hallway. Just another Tuesday for these kids, and the only person who seems to care is Sharon.
This whole thing is out of control. We have to figure out what we're going to do as parents.
Well, there certainly are things that need changing. Have you seen the state of the playground equipment? Just yesterday, I was at the park with my son, Craig, and...
The whole park could use an upgrade if you ask me.
Not only does it seem unsafe, but it's become quite an eyesore.
There's an argument here that it's probably unfair to judge the safety of these schools if the kids aren't even safe back home. Then there is that time when during the pandemic, the school thought it was a good idea to put cops in charge of teaching kids.
I think I'm gonna be sick. Oh my god, I forgot how much it sucks to be around everybody.
That's enough!
Oh!
Got him!
Because if a school kid isn't going to shoot you, a cop probably will. And speaking of deaths, I can't possibly score this criteria without addressing the many times Kenny has died on school property specifically.
Okay, let's go. He's not. I'm not. Get away from me!
Poor Kenny. But to be fair, he gets killed all over town, not just at school. Not that it makes South Park Elementary any safer, so I'm scoring them an N2. The kids might as well have just stayed in the rainforest. So at the end of my inspection, these scorecards look rather bleak, which, I mean, no surprises there, really. However, South Park Elementary, despite it being located in South Park, manages to edge out Springfield and win the title of slightly better school. Just goes to show funding for education can matter. Listen, if you like my wild analysis today, then check out this video where things get even wilder. I know I've been told I got no chill, but I mean, hey, anyway, thanks for watching. Much appreciated. I'll see y'all in the next one.